Welcome to today's episode of Relationship Talk with a Guest. We are truly excited about celebrating Mother's Day. The purpose of Mother's Day is to show appreciation and gratitude to mothers, grandmothers, and maternal figures for their love, care, and contributions to their families and communities. So many of the maternal figures in my life have already moved to heaven to live with Jesus. As I look back over my life, I know that I would never be who I am today if I weren't standing on their shoulders. So I want to dedicate this Mother's Day, and truthfully, everyone after, to my grandmother, Aline Rice, my mama, Dorothy Fouch, and her two sisters, Sarah Mayfield and Charlotte Harper. What better guest to join this celebration than my beautiful, intelligent, and loving sister cousins, my aunt's daughters, Sonia Cobb and Charlene McLaughlin. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button and click the notifications bell so you won't miss out on our new content when it drops. Thank you both for being here to celebrate these amazing women. And I'll be honest with you, I teared up several times just thinking about what I wanted to talk about because I missed them all so much. So they were such an integral part of our lives. Just a little background information. I'm gonna go ahead. Our grandfather was forced to quit school after, was it the fifth grade?
Fifth grade.
That's what I thought,
yes.
Fifth grade, to help provide for the family. And then our grandmother, Aline, had to quit after eighth grade, right? I want to make sure I got that.
I think so.
So due to circumstances of the times, they weren't able to finish high school, but education was very important to them and they were highly intelligent, both of them. They pushed their daughters to excel academically. Our moms were born in the late 40s and early 50s in a segregated South. They all graduated from high school during segregation and went off to college to defy the odds and walk into greatness. So let's talk about some of their accomplishments. They were honestly, just too many to name between the three. But so Sonia, what were some of the things that Sarah accomplished that make you really proud?
First of all, she was a mother of three. She was a great mother, a godly woman. That was the first thing. Her next accomplishment was she was valedictorian of her class. She was promoted twice, so she graduated 2 years early. And she also was the first Black council person for Hartwell, the first minority for Georgia Power in customer service. She had a lot of other accomplishments, but she always wanted to treat people fair. So that's her major accomplishment that she would want people to know, is that she loved God and she treated people fairly. That's what I know of my mom. And she was loving and, of course, funny and nurturing. She's nurturing, y'all, but she was funny. Y'all, everybody, inside family jokes, we got plenty of them. So, yes.
And okay, Ling, tell us about Charlotte and what she accomplished that made you most proud.
Thinking about Mom and the things that I'm most proud, she was a dynamic educator. She taught 1st through 12th grade. She also graduated high school at 16, so she was also promoted, and she was one of the first Black people to work at the Board of Education in Hart County, and she finished her PhD.
Come on.
So that's one thing that I'm super proud of her for. But again, just being a great, awesome mom is the biggest accomplishment. She taught us to pray. She taught us to love God. And before she left here, she wanted to make sure that that was intact for our own lives as she knew she was transitioning.
Right. And I wrote mine because I didn't want to forget anything, so I'm just going to read.
Oh, wow. We didn't get the question first, people.
My mom was the salutatorian of her high school graduating class at the age of 16, only behind my daddy. And I have heard that some people moved and fudged a few numbers to make sure that he was right there. But who knows? So she had a master's degree and she taught school for over 30 years. I don't even know how she had the time to do all the stuff that she did. She started Children's Church at Maple Spring Baptist Church, and she wrote all the weekly lessons for all the classes. Even when she was sick and up in the hospital, she would have those books on the bed with her glasses, writing children's church stuff for the week. And she taught parenting classes and wrote and directed plays. She sat on all types of boards. And growing up, I was most interested in her work as, she didn't have a title, but she was a marriage coach. She taught relationship classes. And I was really interested in the work that she did then, which it makes a whole lot of sense now that I am a relationship coach. I asked her when I was little, I said, if you had to do all over, would you still be a teacher? And she said, I chose teaching for the calendar, really, for the kids. It was most convenient. But she said she really always felt the tug to be a Christian counselor. Okay. And so she did that work in the neighborhood anyway. And she was the most phenomenal wife and mother ever. So her example as a godly wife and mother is what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, so I think we have that in common. Yeah. That's a common thread amongst all of them, being a godly woman.
Yes. So, but when we look at our grandmother, Allen Rice, that is the example. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you opened if I had a Bible, you would have a picture of my grandmother Rice in there. Yeah. Every Sunday afternoon, she's going to be studying her Bible on Friday and Saturday night, because sometimes she was the Sunday school teacher, and she had to have her concordance also.
I didn't even know she taught Sunday school.
Oh, yes.
I did.
Yes, and that was she took it very seriously. She didn't want to teach anything in error. And so, but our grandmother, she instilled that in the girls, and the girls have instilled it in us. And we are passing it on.
And thinking about church, my mom was also an accomplished pianist.
She was.
She played the piano very, very well.
She was.
And taught other people to play.
And gave piano lessons, taught others to play. Yes. And she couldn't read notes. That's another thing.
Yes. I didn't know that.
She taught from ear. Yeah.
She taught them to play for me. Now that I did not know.
She did not teach them to read notes. Yeah.
Got that from her granddad. From her dad. My granddaddy.
So we all grew up like siblings. And so it helped that we live in the same city. But they were very intentional about making sure that we all stayed close.
Amen.
What experiences do you remember growing up that helped with family togetherness?
Of course, the Christmas gathering. Every year at our grandparents' house. Everybody, and our grandmother would move the date several times to try to accommodate the majority of the family. But of course, as you get older and the children get older, and it's other schedules, even like Earl always would have a bowl or something to play at. Right. So we would always miss him a couple of times during his college career. But Easter.
I just think back on regular Sundays. Like
Sundays,
every Sunday you go by after church.
Yep. Everybody would come by after church.
Yeah. And with that pan of macaroni and cheese that stretched, because she didn't make much.
It's amazing, right?
She made a small one.
A little small one, but everybody got some.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I remember my mom started a family Bible study. So the family started gathering there on Wednesday, and she would cook. She loved cooking for that occasion every Wednesday.
And I love eating every Wednesday.
And we love having Aunt Charlotte there to monitor what we're eating.
Monitor the intake of the food. Especially the rolls. You can't have two unless everybody has had one. So, she was definitely the monitor of the portion control.
But I will say, people, about Aunt Dot. Aunt Dot was going to always be in a relaxed state. Yes. I need everybody to understand. We used to pick at her when they built their house beside us, and time Aunt Dot would come home, she would go back there, put her gown on, and that is it.
That's it. For the day.
That is it.
Don't ask
you get a phone call. Can you go to the store? Everybody knew where the money little bin was.
Knew where the money was.
She wouldn't even come from down the hall. It'd be, you know where the money at. Get it and go.
And get the keys.
and you don't really need license.
You really don't. You didn't have to have it. If you could drive, then you could go.
Don't try that now, though. But
no, somebody else that can drive. Go get these hot dog buns because I'm going to need them.
Yeah.
Because she is not coming back up out that room.
Oh, that's
it.
What do you remember them doing to encourage us to accomplish goals like and excel in the classroom? Like, what are some of the early memories that encouraged us to like do well academically?
I didn't have pre-K or kindergarten when I started school. When I started school, in first grade, I was already reading and writing my name. I knew all my ABCs, all the things that you know. I mean, Mom had started me on multiplication in first grade. So education has always been important to all three of them, our grandparents, and it's important to us also. So they've always wanted you to be able to excel. That was expected.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if they came from the segregated South, where they had to be better just to be on an even playing field.
Right.
And so you had to be advanced.
Yeah.
And so like Ed looks at me crazy sometimes with some of the things I expect of Brielle. And he's like, but she's 4. I know she's 4. Like she should be reading these books and all this stuff. He was like, "What are they gonna teach her when she gets to school? Something else."
Something else.
I expect them to push her further
Acceleration.
because that's all I know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's from all of them.
I wasn't even.
We were accountable to each other's mothers.
Correct.
They would
It's
hold
almost
us.
like you had 3 mothers.
Because Dorothy was at the elementary school when I was in elementary school. Charlotte was at the middle school and high school. So if I did anything, and I did occasionally, Charlotte dealt with it at school, and then I had to deal with it again with my mom when I got home.
I stayed with Mother like before I went to kindergarten, just for a few weeks really, because I transitioned from daycare and I stayed with her for a little bit, and we were going through some stuff, and she was like, "You don't know the 23rd Psalm yet?" And I hadn't been to kindergarten, and I was like, "No, ma'am," and she was like, "Oh." She got that Bible.
And you learned it before
just
you got
a couple
kindergarten.
just a couple days, and I knew it. And she went through, and she was like, "Let me make sure you know this one in the 100th Psalm." And she was almost about to battle my mama. Like, she
Psalm
almost
91.
5.
Psalm 91.
Yeah.
is
She 5 and she don't know it yet. So that's crazy.
So I think that's something they all had in common, just to making sure that we were prepared. And even I can remember all of the awards days and all of the things when you're academically celebrated, they were there. And even thinking about my own children, and we lived 2 hours away, she would still come. Even if it was the awards day for Noah or a graduation for Chase from preschool. It's always been a family affair. Everybody's present, no matter how small it seems, just having that support there.
And making sure that we were all in church. I remember telling her, she used to like listen to people preach, and I was like, I don't understand why you sit there and do that. Like, and when we get ready to go to the second and third, because you know at my church, they used to drag us to the second and third programs. I used to be so jealous of y'all. Y'all were one and done. And my question is, are they going to be preaching? I was hoping it was just the same. And I told her, I said, when I get grown, I'm not going to no church where they got preaching. I'm just going to the singing part. And she said, you will be different. But she made us go. In the summer, we had, the BTU Congress that we had to go to. And it was so
Bible
important
school.
to her that we were prepared even for those competitions where we had
the
to
sword
speak.
drill.
The sword drill.
You better know these books of the Bible.
Yeah.
When you get up in front of people, I don't care what the standard is for other people. When you speak, you're going to know your speech.
Right.
And you're going to deliver in a way that it can be effective.
Right. Yeah.
And so when we got mine, and she wouldn't, some of my friends would get like the little 4-line, and she'd be like, no, ma'am. We'll pick out a 12 or whatever. And I just have to stand there, and we go over and over and over until it's presented in a way where she's comfortable and she knows that it will be good.
And just to tag in on that, Charlotte would normally be in charge of it for us at the church. And Charlotte and my mom went to church together. And Charlotte would have ours. She would have mine already picked out. So it was no choosing of 4 lines. You get 6 or more.
6 or more, yeah.
But I didn't get a choice. Yeah. This is your speech.
Yeah, it was a little aggravating, when we were younger and didn't understand why.
Yeah.
It was aggravating. But now that they're not here with us, it's gratitude. Like, thank you so much that you did those things for us.
And there's some people in the community that can attest to this, because she was not just this way. They were not just this way with us. They were this way with all these kids that they came in contact with. She wasn't just getting me ready to go speak Floyd had to come over there. Footsy had to come over there. Everybody else had to practice their speeches too. And so, I mean, just an outpouring of love for the people they taught. Like, our moms were teachers, and a lot of their students called them mama.
Yep.
Like, because they were really moms away from home. Right. So.
And I think for us, we had to get used to sharing our moms with a lot of people.
All of us.
All of us.
And then sometimes we didn't care for some of the people.
Absolutely.
They were sharing
and you
with.
didn't I know I didn't understand. Somebody was always at our house.
Cause ain't no way you over here getting eating up all the snacks.
Always at the house. And they all were like that. I mean, we had to literally share them with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got pregnant the first time, I was excited, terrified, and sad all at the same time because I didn't help them. I didn't have them to help me. And so I appreciate all the support Monica and the two of you gave, but I wanted my mama. Or at least one of my auntie mamas.
Amen.
You know, so I'm
understand.
grateful
We
that
understand.
God taught me that even though I wanted my mama, he was all I actually needed.
Amen.
Yeah.
And so, but now the two of you had your moms when you were pregnant and when your kids were small.
Yeah.
So, Sonya, you had mother too. So, like, what role?
I did.
I want to hear, like, what role did they play during your pregnancies and your early years as a mother? Like, I just love to hear about it.
They actually told me the things I needed to do. They told me the little secret about as far as your belly button and having it smooth and not poking out, the different methods for that. You had them there to teach you some of the things they know to pass on. And it was great having mother, because mother, I got to have her. Everybody, when I say mother, that's my grandmother Rice, because that's what I call her. But anyway, she was there for all three of my kids, and my three kids were her first great-grand. And she said, Lord, just let me see my great-grandchildren. So she got to actually be around them, actually got to help raise them, along with my mom. Of course, she would give them whatever they wanted. They loved Gammy. Gammy is her name, and they loved their Gammy. And so just the Bible. You had them sitting and reading the Bible to them and telling them how to act. And if they needed a little jerk up, they got a little jerk up from them. I remember Chris wanted to act up with my grandmother, and she was like, all right, you're going to get your little big head caught up in that door. And she had to like jerk him back.
Chris got snatched up by mother.
Yes, it was in the revolving doors when she was taking her treatment, and she went, and you know she wasn't feeling the best, and so he in the door trying to play, and it was closing in. She's like, you gonna get your little head smashed up in there. But it's wonderful to have that. Yeah. But I do get to share with Charlene more so than Maya that God knows. He knows that both of you were ready. He doesn't do anything ahead of time. He knew that you were ready, you were prepared. And no, it's not easy being without our moms. But as we all know, we get to spend time together. And I don't think we would have spent the time that we have, the precious moments that we have when we gather to talk and share things with one another. So that passed down from them also.
Yeah. What about during your pregnancies and when your kids were really small? Because you got these grown men now.
Well, they all were. I didn't have mother, but I had my mom and my aunts, and they all were very, very hands-on, especially with Noah, because I was at home with my mom and dad when I had him. And you all know, too, everybody was hands-on. So from the time he was born in the hospital room, I had a room full of people then. And from the time he's been here, they've always been hands-on. So that was good to have that. And just, I was really young, too, 23, when I had Noah. So it was a lot I didn't know about being a new mom. Right. And I am grateful that I
was 20, y'all.
I was a good old 35, 36.
So having them be a part of that, helped me to be a better mom, because I was able to see some things that I didn't know how to do and watch them. I remember when he came home the first night, Sonya was there, Aunt Sarah was there, Aunt Dot was there, my mom was there, several people were there, but I wanted to give him the bath, and they were like, "No, you don't know how. We'll do it. We'll take
You
care
need to
of
watch
this."
first.
He basically is, and I needed to watch how to do.
Give me
it
that, baby.
before they would let me do it. So it was several little things like that I didn't get a chance to do initially. I had to watch and learn. Look and learn. And even when I had Chase was a preemie, so I had him early, and my mom had broke her ankle. But then both of your moms came. So Sarah stayed with me almost a week with Chase, and then your mom, I think she didn't like the fact that she wasn't there, and then your dad had, because she wasn't feeling well at the time, and your dad had to bring her. And he said she would not let another day go by until she got out here to the Brown house to see this baby. So yeah, I felt all three of them as I was a new mom, and I really appreciate that.
What I love is looking back over my life and seeing where God stepped in, knowing that I was going to have these babies and I wasn't going to have her. So the lessons that she imparted in me before, like, I still hear her voice. I didn't have any kids. And she said, when you have kids, make sure they respect you. Make sure that they respond to your voice because it's dangerous if you tell them to stop and they don't stop.
Right.
Like, they can get hit by a car. Just so many different things that she taught me before she left that still get to be with me.
I think God knew the trajectory of my life. Had I not had children, so he was probably like, "Let me go ahead and get this chick settled down."
I need to settle down.
Yeah, because where she's going, I don't know if I'm gonna get her back. So I better go ahead and do it.
And he's like, "Let me not give Maya any early, so Dad won't have to raise these babies." Cause honey, I was for the streets.
Yeah, and you were. Out of the three, I'm definitely worth
Definitely,
I agree.
definitely. We are definitely.
You got somewhere inside out.
Definitely. Of the three, Charlene is the oldest. Yes, of the three.
I have to wrangle them back in both.
Even now.
Wrangle them back in.
Even now. So now that they're gone, what parts of them have you seen show up in the way that you mother your children and now adult children? Because I know you start seeing yourself.
Absolutely. I see myself all the time.
What are some of the parts?
Just number one, calling until I get one of them on the phone.
Lord have mercy.
Just calling, and I'm like, I know you saw my number.
Because you used to ignore Charlotte when she was calling.
Well, we didn't have really cell phones back then.
She called the house phone.
But
She
she
called the house.
She will call the house phone, and she will find you.
Because she called mine.
Yeah.
She will find you. If you're not where you're supposed to be, you better believe she's going to find out where you are.
She would call Avery. She would call Avery, y'all. She would call because he would spill the tea.
Yes, he was the snitch. Yes, he was.
It's Lean over there. Yes. She had the sweetest little voice.
That's her.
But we knew.
That's her.
Knew.
If I tell my aunt that Lean is not over here, she about to set her on fire.
That's her.
Entire place. Yes, and I find myself doing that with my children. Calling until I figure out where you are. Like, that's how I knew my son was in Nashville, because I kept calling and calling. I'm like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be here. Where
He's
are
grown,
you?
people.
I mean, fully grown, college grad.
Yes.
So I would say that, and staying on top of the grades. Like, both of my children think I'm way over the top with the academic piece.
Yes.
Like, what do you mean I have a notification in Infinite Campus and you have something missing? Where is it? What's going on? Even now, Sonya does have to get on me too. And she'll like lean back up a little bit, like, it's gonna be
People, I have
fine.
to remind her of herself. You know what? She's not perfect, and
it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Back off. Back off.
So those are some things that I noticed myself doing.
I have to step in for Booby.
You do. Yeah, you do. You save him.
Nobody has to step in for Booby. Booby can handle himself. He can handle himself. But yeah.
What about you? You see Sarah Jean popping up?
Well, Chris Cobb, Chanel, and DC, y'all were always like compliant. Chris Cobb wasn't. So Chris Cobb, he would have he may have a 97, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's a 97." I said, "But it's not 100. So you missed something. So you need to go back." until you make 100 on everything, there is something to be learned.
To learn, right.
And so but he will tell you now, he said that he had been talking about how mom expected excellence from them and what we expected as far as education. The patience and the calming of my voice. Since from the time I was young, it was a roar, and now it's just a soft voice, but it pierces their soul. So I know that. And what I see is I'll call, we'll pray, and we're just having adult conversations. And we can go out and be, like two adults talking, but yet and still you're my baby. If somebody still, even though you're in your 30s, somebody's bothering you, that I want to come for you.
Period.
Because you're my baby, no matter how old you get.
And I think, too, we expect excellence because it's there. The potential is there.
Yes.
Like, I would not hold them to a standard
Yeah.
that I didn't feel like they could meet.
Right.
So I'm not going to ask you or call for you to do something that I don't feel like you're
Right.
capable of doing.
Right.
But I want you to know your capability and be as successful as you possibly can. I want you to live up to your full potential, because I would be less than a parent to not expect that of you.
Right.
I'm the same with my students. I called two
Right.
parents just
Right.
last week and said so-and-so has an 89 and this one has an 87 and they should both have A's. Like, we got a
Absolutely.
few weeks left in school. What we got to do to get it up? And they was like,
Because
did you call my mama? I
because the
sure did.
potential
Because you
is
should have
there.
an A.
Right.
You're not going to have a B on your transcript when you're supposed to have an A.
Right.
Ed thinks I'm crazy sometimes, because if I got a 98 in the class or on a test, then I got to meet with my teacher, because I got to see why you took 2 points.
Right.
I'm going to look through. And he's like, but it's a 98. But why isn't it 100? So it's the same, I guess, the standard of excellence that I expect.
I don't know if that's public school or what, because this year I got to work in a Christian school, and the majority of those children are so accountable about their grades. And if they miss something, what did I do? Or if they think I graded something wrong.
They
And
wanna
they are
know.
fifth graders, and they will ask. And so I'm just like really enjoying that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
But,
I
the
think that has to
expectations,
be
it's still
instilled,
expectations.
though. I think that has to be instilled in you to question that, or even want to live or even know what your full potential is. And I think because they called that from us, they required that, then we kind of grew up like that, and then we expect that from our children.
So I can see now, like, I feel like Brielle will get with the program. That little one.
It's always going to be one. Yeah, it is always
His
the
learning
baby.
time. And he's
the
like,
baby.
Yeah.
I don't
It
want
is
to
the
read
baby.
today.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do all this. So y'all gonna have to help me with that one. This boy.
And think about how many, and I know we're talking about the girls, but how many boys that we have.
Wow.
From
From three girls.
I mean, it's like, what, 13?
All these
Olin
men
Rice
folk.
really wanted a
14
son.
boys.
He got
Right.
3 girls, and then all of these
of
grandbabies,
these, yeah.
that are boys now.
All of these boys.
It's just Chanel and Brielle.
Brielle,
That's it. Everybody
it,
else.
is the boy.
So yeah, y'all help me with this boy child, this male child. Help me.
They are different.
So, can you think of some decisions that they made when you were growing up that you completely disagreed with that now you're thankful for?
I should have been able to have those wedge heel shoes when I was in the 3rd grade, and my mom still wanted me to wear them little flat, whatever
Talk about-
kind. I still remember that.
Okay, so
That's
you
a
saw,
mistake.
You saw these shoes somewhere. Where were the shoes? I got.
They were in the store. It was Easter time. You know, you go get your
Oh,
dress
yeah.
and your shoes.
And
And,
she said,
and I wanted the wedge heels, and she was like, those are too high, and you're not old enough for them.
She saw the heat
Yeah.
in your butt, even then. She saw it, and she said, "You ain't
And I
putting these
wanted
wedges on."
those shoes, and I remember being riding home mad because you went to Anderson. I remember being mad all that night about them shoes. I wanted those shoes.
She said she was mad, and she got you some little flats.
Yes, the buckles. What is it, Mary Jane's or whatever they are?
Yeah.
You have completely made up for it. And
Completely.
As high, like my
Yes,
instructor
I have.
said, I wear them as high as they'll make them. I wear those heels as high as they can make them.
Amen.
She told me that. She said, wear them as long as you can.
And that's
Yeah.
the truth.
As long.
Because right now I'm walking like I'm crippled. So, so yes, wear them long as you can.
Can you think of?
I think pushing me to go to college.
You didn't want to go?
I did not want to go.
Me either.
At all. Like, that was not even something I wanted to do trade school, come out, get the job, and just be done. But she really, really pushed me and encouraged me to go to college because she knew that I could do it. And so I am thankful for that. I have several degrees and getting ready to start on my PhD.
Come on.
Soon too. So just pushing me to make that first step.
Yeah.
Going to college.
Did you think what was you thinking about when you didn't want to go? Why didn't you want to go?
I just didn't want to be in school anymore.
Okay.
I
That's
just
what it
didn't. I
is.
didn't really want to go be at a 4-year school and just have to do school.
And see, my
You know, and I just didn't
experience
want to
with
do
college is totally different. That's not. It was the 4 years didn't bother me. It was the personality and persona of people I saw that had degrees that always thought they were better than other people, and the snobbish.
And you like,
And I was like, if a degree makes you have that kind of attitude, I don't want it.
Right,
I have no desire to be like that. And so that's what I was exposed to. And it just was a turnoff. So I was 37 years old before I went back and finished. And I mean, and then when I did, God excelled me quickly through all levels. So I appreciate that. He didn't make me, I didn't miss a beat. Even had I got it at 22, I probably still would be at that same spot. So he excelled me. So yeah,
I didn't want to go. I was good at school.
I wanted to go,
but I didn't want to go because I didn't see a reason. I wanted to do hair and makeup for the stars.
Of course.
So I wanted to go to cosmetology school.
And
so,
I did go to cosmetology school. I went to cosmetology school and got a license, but she was still pushing me.
Yeah, I feel like they trapped me a little bit. I'm gonna tell you why.
Here we go with the insurance.
Trapped.
Insurance. Make sure you have insurance.
They told me, look, if you, because I had basketball scholarships, and they were like, pick one of these schools that will pay for you to go, get the degree, and then if you want to get your cosmetology license afterwards, then we'll help you do that. But while I was doing my student teaching, I got a job offer to teach, and then I'm still teaching, y'all, and it's been like 18 years.
And we
so
all
I kind of feel
still in education.
like I never really got to explore that.
I'm enjoying
path.
mine now, y'all.
I didn't explore that path. I wanted to do something else, and I feel like I kind of got boxed in with the school thing. So I have a different. Well, I don't feel like college is for everybody. I really don't.
It's definitely not.
Yeah, when
I don't think it's for everybody.
Yeah, when I talk to younger people, my question is, what do you want to do? Because you might not need to go to do what you want to do.
And you might not be mature enough. That's the other thing I see.
And don't go waste money.
I want to go. even with my kids, I saw where probably if I would have laid back and given them a year or two with one of them, it probably would have been a better move. But I wanted him to go be exposed to the other things. I needed him to be exposed to more than Hartwell. And that was very important. No matter where we moved, we got to move several places. They got to be exposed to so many different things, different people. And that is, you cannot pay for that. Yeah. You got to. Right. So you got to have let your children be exposed to things also.
Yeah, I agree.
So this one right here, this question is a little deep. I don't know that we'll have an answer, but I wanted to put it on the table so we can have the conversation. So mother and all the 3 girls died in their 60s. That's alarming to me. Exactly. Yeah. It's alarming. So if we want to break the cycle of what feels like generational premature death, like what types of things do we need to be doing now?
Health.
I would definitely say health. They all had major health issues. Right. So
and we're going to have to trim, push back from the table. Weight wise. And they know I have a personal trainer, so
I'm saying, that's what doing. I feel like
that's what's helping me.
So your trainer has been helpful?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Him helps you.
I just cut sugar, so I'm going to see if that helps.
I don't cut anything.
I just
go put the work in.
I needed to cut that.
I think another piece of it is making sure that we know what's going on with our bodies.
Right.
I am not sure that we knew in time for my mom exactly the extent of her illness. We knew she had diabetes, but we did not know some of the other things that were going on. So, and I think she purposely didn't share that with us. I'm not sure why, but I think it's important for us to stay on top of our health so that we know what's going on in our bodies.
And sometimes it was just her having to process it. That's what I think with Aunt Charlotte. I think she had to try to process what was happening and let alone try to express that to you all. I always look at Dot as the fighter.
Yeah.
Because she
I
was like,
agree.
at one time, she just refused to do the treatment that they recommended. She's like, no, God said no, and I'm sticking with that. Ma did preventive. She had just had her mammogram in December, and then that following April, first week of April, she wasn't feeling well, and she went and they told her she had stage 4 breast cancer.
Yeah,
And she
I
had just
still
had
understand
her
that.
mammogram in December, and she was dead in June. I just shared this with one of the teachers at the school yesterday, and but I can truly say, at least she got to come home. That's where she wanted to be, and we were all. It was a Wednesday.
Yep.
I think it was Wednesday,
Yep.
and we were there, and she was just sitting on the sofa, and she drifted off. So I can't ask for anything else. She wasn't in
Yeah,
there
we were all
gagging or
there.
anything. She
Everybody
just
was there.
drifted off, and she was happy where she was.
And she was happy because she got so excited about heaven. I can remember in Bible
She
study.
loved heaven.
I can remember Bible study when she taught on heaven, and she would like lift her toes and twinkle them like this. And I was like, "You ain't got to do all that. You can stay here a little bit." She just like, "I can't wait." Yes, you can. Like you can wait. So she wasn't afraid at all. She was ready at whatever time because she was like, y'all keep thinking that he's gonna heal me, but he's not. Like, this is my time. She was fully prepared.
Oh yeah, I think all of them were prepared. I think the people that weren't prepared was us.
Yes. Because we would be like,
weren't-
stop talking like that.
I know for me, I still didn't get there. And I mean, I didn't get there until
And Aunt
the
Charlotte gave you a heads up.
day that she actually left here. I was still
She said,
like,
I will not be here tomorrow. And she meant that, and that was it.
My mom was tired of being in the bed. She said, I'm tired, and y'all are good. And I said, we are not good. And she was like, you and Earl and Monica got somebody, and Ken, you don't want nobody. So y'all can proceed. I have done all that I'm here to do for you people. And
her sisters had gone on too.
Yeah.
Well, and I know I had that
as each one of
conversation with
them
your
died,
mom.
it took a whole
it took
piece
a
out of
whole out of them.
It did.
Even with Charlotte and Dorothy, when Mom left 1st, they both were like,
What are they going to do
what are we
without their
gonna
sister?
do? I'm not ready. I don't have her.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte left. I was like, we got to keep Dorothy as long as we did. Because
Yeah.
when Charlotte
I
left,
wasn't
thought,
sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
thought Dot was going to go ahead and leave the next week how she was going on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And when I went to visit your mom in the hospital in Athens, I think she was maybe in rehab, and she told me, "Oh my God, that's my sister's little girl coming through the door." And then she told me, she says, "I'm all alone." And I said, "No, you're not." I was like, "We're all here. All your kids are here." And then she says, "No, but my sisters aren't here."
They
She
were
really
tight.
felt like she was by herself, like she was alone. And I don't know why she felt that way, other than their bond was that tight.
And everybody from her
her original family.
Both of her parents and her sisters.
Right.
And it's like,
They
she was
were
crazy about my
together.
daddy, of course. But it's like, but you ain't my sister.
And
so.
then it was almost like they were all somewhere where she wasn't, and she wanted to be where they
That's
were.
what I saw with all of them, the longing to just be together.
Together.
Yeah. And Ma, after Prentice died, now Prentice is the one that caught us off guard.
I would say yes.
We weren't expecting him to die. And when he died, even though Ma got through that and went, she never was the same. She
I
never
agree with
was.
that.
She never was. And her riding buddy was gone. So
Right.
she never was.
And so we're all moms. What do you
Yes.
love most about being a mom?
I love that I have 2 grandkids from my son and would like some more, Erica and Chris and Chanel and Brandon, other than a grandpup, Chanel and Brandon. But I just love looking and seeing the combination of Sonia and Derek and what we produced. And as the thing is legacy. And that's why I'm like, how if you can't have a child, I understand. But if you can't, I'm like, I just like looking and saying,
Yeah.
you know what?
I did that.
Yes, God
Yeah.
allowed me to be a parent to this, and
Yeah.
I'm so proud of all of you and the accomplishments and the things, and I just can't wait to see the other things that He has in place for you. But I'm like, God allowed me to be gifted to birth you.
Yeah.
Right.
I look at them sometime, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
all I did is birth you because you're
Yeah.
just fantastic to me.
Yeah.
And I'm in awe.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. That's how I feel about my children too. Being a mother, being able to just see them and their personalities, and they're like so much smarter and so much
They
better
know so
than
much.
me.
Yeah,
than
they
what I
know
was.
so much.
And another thing I really like is creating memories
Right.
with them,
Right.
like my mom did for me.
Right.
So all of those special things that she did, I try to make sure that I do those things with them so that they can look back and say, you know, my mom did this with me or did that for me. And I have 2 football players, and I try to be, and y'all know I'd be at every game.
You
no
are a
matter,
football mom.
for, no matter how how far it is, the distance, because I want to show up for them because my mom showed up for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got these little people. I love that I'm able to be for them what my mama was for me. When I watch how they love on me, how they
Yeah.
get so excited to see me,
Yeah.
and like especially my son, how he is so
Yeah.
attached.
He is a
Yeah.
mama's boy.
He is, and so and Brielle is just like me. Like her personality
is.
She is
is
very
just
much
like me.
like- yeah.
And so just to watch like a mini me, and I'm like,
It is.
how is this even possible?
It is.
Like I
It
love
is.
it, and
It
I'm
is.
excited to see what
It
God
is.
God
does
has for-
through
yeah.
them. Yeah,
It is.
because I'm excited because I know that they're gifted, and I just know that they'll do great things. And so I love the way that I love them and that they love me back.
Yeah, and that's something to, my children love me too, and that's
They do.
something to be proud of. That your children want to be with you,
Right.
want
Right.
to love on
Right.
you.
Right.
Like even when I left today coming here, Chase was like, "Where are you going? Can I go?" And
Right.
so the fact that they want to be with you is a blessing.
Like
I got-
it-
Yeah.
I got to experience that with when Derek died, unfortunately, so early, and how they right there corralled around me, and
They
it's
did.
it's about mom. Make mom comfortable. What do you need? Do you want to come live here? You want to come? I mean, I had that offer. I mean, you want to just come on back with us, and so it's nice to have some people that you help create, and they
Yeah.
feel that way. And you come on, mom, we got
Yeah.
you, we got you.
But they
Absolutely.
were able to watch your mom be like that with you, and I think that's something that all of our kids they're watching us, and even
Right.
in the sickness, you didn't have your kids when your mom was sick, but our kids witnessed what we did for our mom. As
How you're
far
supposed
as
to show up for
how
them.
you're supposed to take care of your parent. When you're small and they're the parent, they're taking care of you. But it will come a time when your child is going to have to be that person. And because they were able to watch that, I'm hopeful that they're gonna
See
take
about
care of
Lane?
me.
And I hope they marry some women that won't have a problem with it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So they might run past Ed and to come to me, and he was like, "I mean, I'm right here. Why you gonna run to your mom?" And I'm like, "Because I'm their mama."
But
that's
it's just
different.
something
It's
about
different.
just,
It
I mean,
is.
that's just a motherhood
I carried these
thing.
people.
Yeah, I think we all have that in common. I mean, every person, man, woman, you have a special bond with your mom.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Even kids that don't have good mothers, maybe they're
They still
dealing
love their
with
mothers.
abuse or
They are
addiction.
still-
They will cover for them
For their mom,
Yeah.
because
They
you're
love their
mom.
mama.
Right.
Yeah.
That's your mama.
Yeah.
Tupac
Right.
said it. Even though you were, a crack
Right.
fiend, like you still black queen.
Right.
In his eyes,
Right.
I'm this
It's
boy's
mama.
mama.
Yeah.
It's mama.
So if you had to give one piece of advice to a first time mother, what would you say? This is her first time she's really nervous. With just one piece of advice.
About motherhood.
Yeah. Just to celebrate Mother's Day. Just what would you tell her?
love your children unconditionally, and make sure they have a personal relationship with God, because you're not going to always be there, not guaranteed to be there. They have to know how to seek God for themselves when mama's not here.
That's good.
We all have to find that relationship with God by ourselves,
For ourselves.
despite what our parents teach us. And for me, you were born at this appointed time. I didn't get to actually pick this time. I might have went through the motion, but God said, you know what? Right here this is the time. I need you. I want you on this earth, and you have a purpose. No matter what comes up, He thought you should be on this earth. And so you're gifted with this gift, and take it, and it's very precious. And it's not going to be forever. So pour into this child as much as you can. Read, love, hug. I mean, just pour into that child as much as you can.
And I would also add, too, just making sure your family unit is there. Like, I'm just so thankful for Mike, and that he's there with our children, and that our children are able to see a family unit, too. I think that is important.
And it's not that we're not saying otherwise, but the family unit is how God designed it.
Absolutely.
So the closer you can get to what God has designed, the better it is. And that's the truth.
Yeah, it really,
I am
really
so
is.
thankful
I'm
for
thankful too.
the kids.
Yeah.
I always used to tell people, if like divorce really wasn't a vocabulary word technically, because I said, long as my children, that's their dad.
That's their dad. Absolutely.
And no matter what happens or whatever, that's their dad.
That's their dad.
Nobody else can come in and ask daddy.
Absolutely. And I think that's very important
is.
too, especially for, different circumstances.
It is.
This is their dad, and we are a family.
Yeah.
No matter what that looks like. And that's very important, that as a mother, you instill that in your children too, to make sure that you are respecting your dad, respecting your mom, respecting the family unit. Just like Sonya said, this is what God has.
I think I would say, make sure that you know how to seek God for yourself. Because He will guide you in ways that you don't think you know how to be a mom. Maybe you haven't had a good example. You don't see people around you that are mothering in a way that you want to mother, and you feel lost. Really pray, because He will give you. You have instincts that kick in as soon as you hold that baby. I can't count the number of times I cried and said, I don't know how to do this. Like, I can't believe you're going to give me a baby and I ain't got no mama. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But you know how to do it. Yeah. You don't even know why, Ed'll ask me that too. How did you know to say that to her? And I said, I don't know.
She helped raise Chanel, DC, and Chris.
I did.
And
Noah,
and
Chase. Do that. And I'm like, I don't know. He equips us as mothers with what we need to get the job done.
Yeah.
I mean, if monkeys in the wild can figure it out, how do we think that that He didn't gift us to do what He's asking us to do? Right. The people He calls, He fully equips.
Amen.
So if you stay in tune and you block out noise, because you can't take advice from everybody.
No.
So you might not need to raise yours the way this girl down the street is raising hers. You need to talk to God about how to raise this person. I can't raise Kal-El and Brielle the same, because they are very different. They are very different. Even when it comes to discipline,
they have
I can't
different
discipline them the same.
Yeah. You can't. You cannot.
What's most effective for one is not effective for the other one.
Right.
And you got to be flexible. You can't be like, well, this is the way I was raised, so I'm just going to beat it out of him. That might not work.
Yeah, you might get one that don't even make a difference.
It don't phase them.
Exactly.
Chris called.
And I mean, I had that too. I had one that, it didn't work.
Right.
Call his name out.
She said she had one. She ain't got but two. You can guess.
The consequence did not change the behavior. So,
but you figured something out, because he turned out good. Yeah. So, I think that, just trust what God placed in you, and move forward in that.
Right.
I love y'all so much, and I'm so glad.
We love you too.
you.
Thank you so much for
We
coming.
love our Sugi.
And happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. And for all the dads that are watching this, make sure that these 3 mothers are very taken care of. We were putting our request in. What was our request?
I just like to be by I need some isolation. That's what I ask for every year for Mother's Day. I just want you and these kids
And
to go
these
over there.
kids.
Now, I would like to keep him if he can find somewhere for them to go.
For them to go.
But everybody else is celebrating Mother's Day too, so you take them.
Yeah.
I need to go to Dade County, which is Miami. That's what I need. A girls' trip down there. That's what I really would like.
Oh, what you
All
want,
right.
Ling?
Well, I mean, I would love to go on a trip too. So tell them to pull their coins together and send us all on the trip. Dade County.
Well, I mean, if I go on a trip, I'm gonna need some sex when I get down there. So who gonna keep my kids? How you gonna go to Miami without having a little sex?
You gonna look at the eye candy
We
and keep
thought
moving.
we thought we were going to be able to get through this session PG. But of
I'm
course,
the one that's not
every
married.
time
And
we-
let's move on. Move on.
every time we come to that fork in the road, she goes left.
You gonna go to
Every
Miami and be
time.
like, hey!
Every time. She goes left every time.
She has that bag packed.
She's a slick one. You got to
You
watch
gotta
her.
watch her. That's slick. She a slick one. Yeah,
look
you gotta
at-
watch her.
I can't believe this. Look, we about to run out.
Do you travel with that bag in your trunk?
I do.
Who does that?
I don't know where I'm gonna be. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and people and maternal figures.
Right.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
I'm
Mother's
good.
Day.
For more information about our coaching services, courses, marriage tools, events, and getaways, go to onevisionerc.com. That website again is onevisionerc.com. If you had a good time hanging out with us and you got something out of it, go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Like it so we'll know you enjoyed it, and share it with somebody so they can be blessed too. We'll see you next time.